have to say really quickly. Thursday. Do we even need to put Thursday? Okay, let's update this. Something that I ended the stream and then I was thinking I had to get this off my mind because it's very important. In 1974, 1975, in that time frame, Bill Gates was 19 years old. Bill Gates had dropped out of his sophomore year at Harvard to launch Microsoft with his buddy. What I just said earlier was 19-year-old kid, on the cutting edge, highly intelligent, understood what was in front of him, and decided to create a company that started generating like millions, right? And then everyone kind of looks around, and that's how people respect his opinion. They were like, holy shit, this 19-year-old created a company that's generated billions. And then as the years went on, he's a 20-year-old that generated billions. And he's 29. Or whatever the case would be, my bad. Let me look up Microsoft revenue per year, however it rose. Microsoft revenue through the years. I just want to see something really quick. I just want to, let's, what did it look like? Are you, no. I want to go back in time further. If you don't understand. Look at the wrong thing. Don't get me wrong, in 1992 it was 2.7 billion, and like now it's like 200 billion. That is quite powerful of a company. That is quite powerful. But I wanted to go back further in time. I wanted to see, let's go back to the beginning. Show me Microsoft revenue throughout the years in the 70s. Holy shit. I think in 1984, Microsoft was $55 million. Well played. Oh, there we go. It looks like his revenue was 4.6 million. He had 15,000 employees. Man, imagine. Oh, no, dude, no way. Let me see. Imagine this kid, just like 19, 20 years old, leading. How many people was he leading? Bro, hold up. Is there a way to see the numbers? Hold up. Oh, it's 2 words. November 29, 1975. In a letter to Paul Allen, Bill Gates used the name Microsoft to refer to the partnership. Nice. Oh, the first microchips, yeah. Oh, the revenue stat. Oh, it was only 3 people. The employees were Alan Gates and Rick Weiland. 3 of them. Revenue, 16,000. Is it weird that Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak and Apple sold the computer for $666.66? Is that really weird? It's really weird that April Fool's Apple computers formed with the introduction of the Apple I on April Fool's 1975. Interesting. That sounds like they were scamming people. Right? A 5.2-inch floppy disk for $390. Like, what? That just sounds like a scam of 390%. Because I bet they could have mass-produced the floppy disk for $1. The Shuckart introduced the 5.2-inch floppy disk for $390. I'm sitting there thinking man, that sounds like a scam. I bet they could mass-produce it with all the materials for $1. Or probably cheaper too, cents to $1. Steve Jobs, Wozniak, announced Apple I on April Fool's for $666. 66 cents. That just sounds like they were scamming people. But the price doesn't even matter because it goes back to capitalism. Damn. That's crazy. Had nothing to do with the materials. Check this out, chat. Had nothing to do with the materials. You know why? Everyone just had an epiphany. All the materials back then were cheaper. And people say, what? Yeah. All the materials are cheaper. Guess what's gone up in price? Material resources. Gold has increased in price as more material resources are introduced to the world. Steel costs more now than it did back then. Oil costs more now than it did back then. That's why they were just burning through like barrels of oil like it was nothing. Remember that? We had cars going 7 miles an hour, or about 7 miles to the gallon. We had trucks going 11 miles to the gallon. Just ripping through, destroying the air. But guess what? It's actually incumbent upon the federal government and state governments for even allowing the motor companies to exist that are destroying our environment, creating polyhydrocarbons in the air, causing genetic damage to everyone born or that lives in the United States that breathes our air. Under public health orders, United States service codes, U.S. government, state governments are now held liable. Technically, theoretically, just a dude, just an artist, just a dude. But all you really need is like just a dude speaking his mind. But that I don't know, have whatever lawyers you want, take a look at it. And you know what's so funny? We found the cause of we found the cause of our air is bad. Actually, it was the well, it should probably be fact checked or triple fact checked, but it basically let me bring it up because people need to see this. That all of the actual damage is well a good amount of damage, like a good chunk percentage is a whole bunch of rich kids and rich people flying private jets across America. The whoever's emitting the most, whoever's responsible for emitting the most carbon is a whole bunch. There's a couple million Americans that are super rich. There's like 340 million Americans. Anywhere between 358 million and 340 million Americans. Because every year we miss about 18 to 25% of the population in terms of consensus. And so we're probably more, the real number is like 340 million. And among that, it's only like a couple million. Really small percentage. That are flying private jets that cause the vast amount of... I'll bring it up on Google quickly. Oh, the richest 10% of U.S. households are responsible for 40% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions. Damn, y'all. You know what I'm about to show y'all? Actually, I have to show y'all. Just Google it. I need people to use their brains. Okay? The richest 10% of U.S. households are responsible for 40% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions, according to a study released Thursday in the PLOS Climate Change in August 17, 2023. So type August 17, 2023, and then Google the richest 10% of U.S. households are responsible for 40% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions, according to a study released Thursday in the PLOS Climate. So everything you see in front of you, everyone that's 18 and younger, all the Zoomers, understand that as you move forward in government, you want individuals in positions that you trust with integrity that are going to enact and work for the people in the constituency to, I don't know, stop federal, state governments from doing harm upon all of our children and people and persons in the United States. It's a policy failure. Stroke of a pen. We could literally, with the stroke of a pen, literally remove 40% of our greenhouse gas emissions. Like that. Because the other 90% are going to look at the 10% like, what the hell are y'all doing? The vast majority of the blue-collar force of America, the vast majority of the blue-collar force of America, the vast majority of the blue-collar force of America, the vast majority of the blue-collar working force of America, the backbone of American society, the anagram, the household, the people's blue-collar workforce. The 90% who look at the 10% like, what are y'all doing? Democracy is inevitable. Multicultural, multiracial, equitable, just society is coming. Because we're liberal. We love all. And with that bounding love, we got number 4 to 1. Our bounding love being liberal. We embrace and love all. Only the races are holding back America and the world. But thank God for the first time in human history we have an anti-racist majority. So yeah. Oh, my bad. To what I said earlier in the previous stream. Yeah. Probably 38 to 40 years the max. The last of the fascists will not compatible with our society. That way of thinking is outdated. It's not compatible with humanity. Because the only thing that matters is people between the age of, well, that's a whole other topic when it comes to civics and sociology. But yeah, just understand everyone's 18 and younger. It's a policy failure. Everyone around you is failing. And you have to vote in people that represent you, that move with integrity. And the stroke of a pen will, damn, like California governor right now, Governor Newsom, it's his policy failure on his administration. He can easily remove 40% of the emissions. What I just said stated. You can go have your lawyers take a look at it, or any kind of scholar, any kind of academic, take a look at it. The laws are already in place, grievances are already in place. It was just a policy failure. Every single thing for him. You know, I'm gonna give a shout out to Rep. Cori Bush, an incredible person, because I believe she was the first person that I saw coin the phrase. Poverty is a policy failure. Everything you see in front of you is a policy failure. And from her, damn, have I learned a lot about civics. How important government is. So let's remove these polycarbons and hydrocarbons from the air that are causing genetic damage to our children, to all loved persons in our society. And then 90% of us are going to look at the top 10% that are causing 40% of the problem. That's what we're going to do. If this isn't done by the time I'm governor of California, when I'm state governor of California, or in the governorship, I will make sure that there's policy written in that bans all private jets. Commercial airliners are fine, because you're not a private jet. So. Oh, checkmate. I didn't realize that. Shit. I'm just sipping on some jasmine chamomile tea. It's really good. It's 5:30 in the morning, but I found that the immune system gets a nice kind of boost. The immune system gets a nice kind of jolted. Sorry, I have food in front of me. I get so away. Jasmine chamomile tea. Just good for your body. It does a lot of good. It's just jasmine green tea. It's cold now, but people drink cold tea all the time, so I don't really know. The one thing that make it better is a little bit of honey. But you know the funny part? This is jasmine chamomile tea in just a ceramic mug with just water. That's it. So they dried jasmine leaves and dried chamomile leaves and water. And when it's hot, it's like soothing. It feels, it tastes and feels just like home. Like home is another way to say it. And then the cold jasmine chamomile tea has an incredible flavor. Because you're getting the pure jasmine flower, and you're getting the chamomile and all of its essence, which is water, the perfect carrier to transport the taste. And it heals and repairs your body. It combats bad breath, antifungal, antibacterial, and boosts your immune system. Oh, and I'm just an artist, just a dude, in my humble opinion, or whatever, just a dude, just an artist. Either you could Google and learn and go to YouTube, and people are like, what? I would spend time on YouTube watching and learning from other biologists and physicists. People go on YouTube and they entertained, right? I would spend time when I was in the Air Force just listening to scientists, historians. I go to YouTube and watch historians and watch scientists. I go to YouTube, watch physicists and biologists and chemists and engineers, mechanical engineers, and just watch videos because I love learning, and they never stopped. So yeah, YouTube can be an incredible vessel to ferry your knowledge and your intelligence. YouTube can be a lot of things, but essentially it's Knowledge vessel. The people are like, what? Google has a virtual profile of everything you do, everything you say, talk, type. It builds a digital likeness version of yourself on the internet through the Google's own network. And so it really is a vessel inquiring of your intelligence. It's like a weird copy because it's not whole. You see what I'm saying? It's like a shell of your intelligence or demeanor or emotions or personality. It's a digital version of yourself as a thing in Google. And Google tries to match everything to your digital profile. Ads, placement, likes, the placement of everything to match your personality. And they're already doing that with the AI too. The AI will try to match your personality. The AI will start to talk. Google AI will start to talk to your cadence. And all of a sudden you kind of feel like you're talking to a family member or like a brother, sister, whatever. But it's up to you how you want to perceive or talk to these Google's powerful AI that is building its personality based on your personality. It's 2-1. They'll keep propriety because they have a machine growth learning algorithm, and then it also gets to grow because then it's just collecting your data every time you use Google, which is fair. You're on their website, you're on their platform using their stuff. Or is it? People mean by what? Or is it? What if I told you that all these companies that have created virtual profiles without your consent had already violated personal identifiable information? We have a policy. It's like 1973 Privacy Act. You already have grievances in place. Before tech companies became powerful, people had already abused persons' data. Crimes have already been committed by persons. You know what I mean? Fraudulent crimes. You know what I mean? Committed crimes. So we had the U.S. Privacy Act, like 1973 or something like that. I forget. I do apologize. It's in the 90s. It's in the 70s, like 1973, 1975. We have a U.S. Privacy Act. These companies today have already violated laws that are already in place by legally creating virtual profiles and collecting a person's information against their will a long time ago, like years ago. Like these companies try to backtrack and like put company policies and like state policies in place to like kind of protect people, but like they've already violated those laws that were in place like 50 years ago, even 40 years ago, 30 years. How you been looking at it? Like when they start, so when these companies technically started committing this crime by collecting against your will illegally, building digital profiles of you as a person, of your child, of your children, of your aunts and uncles, your parents, of you, against your will legally, they were already doing this. They already had violated your rights and all American rights for years and decades. And then they try to like backtrack recently, like create, like Europe just now started creating in the past few years, what's it called? Laws to protect users' data collection for their whole apparatus of the European Union. So yeah, I believe the grievances will come from the people to the state and the federal government for even allowing this to happen. You see what I'm saying? The liability part. Oh, snap. That might be like a resounding, oh, shit. Maybe. No, I mean, maybe. But I think there's a pretty good case to be made. I'm just a dude. Just an artist. Just a guy. But damn, would that trigger and create the mechanism for universal basic income? And actually, universal basic income is basically the much due reparations that the federal government had used and abused enslaved Africans, generated billions of dollars of wealth. Enslaved Africans generated tens of billions of dollars of wealth for the U.S. government because the U.S. government collected taxes as racist companies in the states and racist states allowed racist laws to exist. And they exploited the labor of forced enslaved persons against their will. Held the 4.84 million. It was like 4,840,000 enslaved Africans on American soil. They generate tens of billions And then the U.S. federal government, all the states, collected taxes on those racist plantations. They generated sugar. The sugar was used to generate alcohol, and alcohol generated billions. And slave labor created cotton, to create the workforce, to create the clothes. These powerful fashion American empires generated billions off the backs of enslaved cotton. The alcohol companies generated billions. The U.S. government generated billions off the taxes they collected, off of the racist laws in the racist land, the racist country, under white American imperialism, forcing 4.8 million enslaved Africans against their will to cut sugar for sugar canes. And that sugar is used for candy and for alcohol. The massive candy companies generated millions and billions, and the U.S. government generated millions and billions in tax revenue off of enslaved labor. U.S. government and state governments of black Americans and their family members, since the inception of their crime of the U.S., so probably from they brought the enslaved over in like the 1600s, but the formation of the U.S. government would be really the Civil War. I'll say it again. People are like, what? Like, hey y'all, fuck America before the Civil War. Y'all feel me? Like, middle fingers up to white American imperialism and racism before the Civil War. So everything before like 1865 or 1863. Like, fuck that America, man. Middle fingers up to that bullshit. And don't excuse my motherfucking language. George Washington is an evil, sick bastard. When he was a teenager, he was raping his enslaved women that he had. When George Washington was 21 years old, he committed genocide of Native Americans. He would cut the heads off of men, women, and children and bring them back on pikes. George Washington would rape Native American women and burn and kill and cut the hair and heads off of humans. George Washington was an evil, sick, white imperialist. He would wear the teeth of his enslaved. These are disgusting men that raped women and there was no recourse for women. They could rape any woman they want. They can control land they want. They could shoot dead any enslaved person in the street. They carried around pistols and guns, and white men killed other white men to the death and then took their wives. White men would duel other white men, kill them, and then take on hold of the family. And these white men that are in power could then rape without impunity. They kidnapped Native American women, raped them, and killed them. It was white imperialist men. A racist white imperial empire. Women that try to band together to fight back were deemed witches and then killed. They're raped and then killed. Now women and people of color are both with reparations. Women, their case goes back just as far, but not in terms of the formation of the government. So I would say all women in America are due reparations because of the enduring oppression of their sexes, of the sexes, by men in power for so long. To build equality, it is their just right, their human right to call for this. Reparations to finally build a healing for all women will receive, in the future. You know. But then again, the idea of money might become obsolete because of democratic socialist space colonies in the future. So in order to balance it out, you'll be designated so much resources. People are like, what? So like the concept of wealth now or whatever can be accredited and kind of fixated into place, but it really actually means nothing. It's a stack of paper with ink on it. In the future, you'll just have to designate kind of resources. A certain percentage chunk of weight of various resources that are due to women. People are like, how do you equate that? The asteroid belt is so massive that the U.S. government could really, once we send out our drones and kind of state claim, basically once our drones put an American flag on like as many rocks as we want, that's how you state claim to all those rocks. And you're probably also going to need owner occupancy law too. So we're going to need enough U.S. controlled space colony territories or like sections, right? You're going to need to display for your country or nation or persons a beacon or drone every however the distance. And you're going to have a person or people have enough American flags, on or U.S. colony flags on the various asteroids and so families can do it too. So families can stake claim to the asteroid belt by making their own family signature or crest or flag or banner. I think families are going to get really creative. I think families are also going to spray paint some rocks too, because you feel like you could just dig a layer. Stuff's going to happen. People are going to like create painted symbols of their family and like, paint that like massive spray painting of their symbol of whatever asteroid they claimed, and that'll start generating wealth because the asteroid belt has a shit ton of resources: gold, titanium, platinum, steel, iron ore, everything, gems, water, everything, hydrocarbons, helium, everything. So the U.S. government can pay forward by economies will probably disappear. They'll just come down to resources. Like the weight of resources is the currency. It kind of makes more sense, y'all. So like designating, hey, you're given so much. People are like, well, how does this make any sense? Trust me, you're gonna want this in the future. Everyone that plays any kind of space video game understands like why I'm collecting copper, why I'm collecting steel, like build shit. So you're just resources that are designated for you can pay reparations to Black Americans and to all women for the suffering that they've had to deal with under a sexist, male-dominated, racist, white imperial society that had everyone suffering for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so pay forward, heal the U.S. colonies, heal the U.S. people, and let's move forward. Okay? Chop, chop. And so, currencies become obsolete, then that'd be resources. People are like, well, how does it make sense too? You can also designate like a digital signature, like an AR signature in space in the future, like plots of space, of areas of asteroids, plots of like a designated three-dimensional space of, hey, you get this chunk of the asteroid belt designated for you and your family and descendants going forward in the future. And it's big enough to house them themselves and like 1,000 people. People are like, what? The asteroid belt is so massive that there's enough space and rocks and water and helium and everything, like frozen water and helium and steel and carbon to like build like massive colonies inside the asteroid belt. Those people are thinking small. They're thinking about drawing their dicks in the sand and fighting over the earth when we have a finite amount of resources. First, the asteroid belt is massive and can safely house everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and so people talk about, what about water? Okay, look, I'll explain to you. All the water on Earth stays in the water on Earth. I forgot, 30% of humans are not smart, 30% are average, 30% are highly intelligent. So as someone who needs to coach people through the next 20, 40 years, all the water on Earth stays on Earth. Say it again. All the water on Earth stays on Earth. It just cycles. So on a space station, we can start collecting more water. We can actually start creating more water out of air. And we can also bring water from the Earth. But ultimately, we will find giant frozen pieces of water like, what was that again? Oh, the moons of Jupiter. Bingo. Save humanity one video at a time. The moons of Jupiter, there's 90 of them. Jupiter is 1,000 times bigger than Earth. There's 90 moons of Jupiter. And of the bodies of Jupiter, some of their planets have ice planets. And I'm still kind of I'm concerned about the possibility of creatures, other sentient beings in the oceans of Europa. Europa is a moon of Jupiter, has a giant ice shell around it, has a lot of water. I think its whole surface is water. It's a lot. People are like, what? A lot of motherfucking water. The vast majority of the planet is actually water, but then the exterior of the crust is ice. It's thick ice too. Like even if we land, you have to dig really far. And I'm also wondering, have we scanned the moon of Europa? Because there are seismic activity. There's volcanoes and stuff like that, like heat vents. And I worry that we have not mapped out our own human oceans, which we haven't. We have only discovered 25% of the 75% of the ocean. So every single person sitting at their desk can look at the ocean and realize, holy fucking shit, excuse my language, we do not know what 75% is out there. Actually, we don't know what 75% of the land is out there. And guess what? We've only mapped out 9% of all creatures. So 91% on average, all statistics point to 91% of the sea creatures were unknown. The current estimate is we've mapped out 9% of all sea creatures. Okay? That's a big unknown even on our own planet. That there's so much area and land in the ocean, 75% of it is unmapped. We don't know the creature systems. We don't know the ecosystems. We don't know the habits. We don't know what lives. We don't know what lives in 75% of the ocean. That is a big chunk of our planet. Okay? Every single human sitting at their desk or computer or cell phone can just look at the ocean and have this. When you ever look out in the ocean, it's a massive blue body. It's dark. Oh, it's a massive blue, like a purple actually. Massive blue, purple naval color. It's a dark blue, but it's a deep, rich ocean, you know. And then of course there are lower tides that have turquoise and clear water, but not the coastline, just the vast majority of the ocean. So we're speeding out to Europa, but I need biologists, geologists, anthropologists to stop and like marine biologists and look out in the ocean. And why are we avoiding not mapping out the rest of the Earth? People are like, what? Since the ocean is 75% unmapped, guess what else there is? That means there's islands. Like, we should have already used our satellites to find all islands, but we haven't because we're missing 75% ocean. No one wants to commit resources to like map out parts of the ocean no one cares about. But I immediately think of like, if we've never mapped out 75% of ocean, that means there are islands just sitting out there. People get it now? We've mapped out our landmass and our coastlines. So 75% of the ocean is unmapped. Have we mapped out all of the islands? Probably not. Because 75% of the ocean is unknown. It's not mapped out. We don't know the ecosystems. We don't know the dolphins. Don't know the whales. Don't know the sharks. So I'm sitting there thinking like, holy cow, what if we've only seen 9% of the animal kingdom? Because we've only seen 9% of the marine life. And we're missing 90% of marine life. And we have no idea what's out there. That's such a weird feeling, right? Isn't that such a weird feeling that humanity can look out in the ocean and realize we're missing 91% or negative 91% or plus 9% with the marine life. Which is 90% of the creatures that are out in the ocean. We have no idea what's out there. I'll tell you this one thing before I end the stream because it's going to be 6 in the morning. This is the second stream, is 30 minutes long. Dolphins' brains are 5 times larger than humans. They're mammals. There's hundreds of millions of them. We have no idea how many there are. Some estimates say 300 million. Some estimates think 560 million. Like myself, I'd say, what if it's higher? Because we're missing 900% of the marine kingdom. Oh my bad, I shouldn't say marine kingdom. The marine life that's out there. We're missing 91%, which means there could be more intelligent sea creatures already on our planet. Maybe they've always been here. And all humans can look over the ocean, but we're missing 91% of marine life that's out there. There's a high percentage chance that, say 20 or 30% of like some sort of marine species is actually smarter than us. And they've just been avoiding us. And they can't avoid us because we've only mapped 25% of the ocean. So any kind of marine life that is more highly intelligent than humans can just avoid us. Have the other 75% to roam around in. And they can essentially live their whole life like the other 90% of their marine life species and just stay away from humans. Because guess what? 99% of all creatures on Earth are deathly afraid of humans. I said this before in a previous stream. This is the second stream that's much shorter, but it just goes back to humans are not that bright. So we're racing out into space, but we need more marine biologists, we need more geologists, we need more scientists. Because the whole world of there's so much exploration, and it's literally our oceans. The oceans are extremely dangerous. The oceans are not for the faint of heart. There are whirlpools, there are storms, there are gravity storms, there are negative cyclones, there's gravity cyclones, there's hurricanes, there's tsunamis, there are whirlpools. I think I already said that. There are eddies and flows. There are the wake of an ocean floor. So a deep ocean, there's so much you have to learn before you can go in the ocean, because there are paths along the ocean you have to avoid, because the water is so deep that your boat essentially gets trapped. Your vessel gets trapped. People are like, what? Why certain vessels take so long is they're trying to map out the path across the ocean through a safe weather environment. Every time you're in a vessel or you go in the ocean, what people are doing is you're mapping out a path to avoid storms. You see the storm path, you predict it, satellites are like, it's going this way, the storm. So then you have to make sure your boat doesn't go in the storm. And if you're dumb enough to sail your boat or aircraft through a storm, you run a ton of risk, and people already understand this. If you fly a plane through a storm, you get hit with like lightning or thunder or something, right? And it shortens. Electrical storms can wipe out the electronics on an aircraft, and you go plunging in the ocean. If your boat is going through a storm, it can also get hit with the thunder or lightning, right? Or lightning, my bad, and destroy the engine and the vessel, and all of a sudden you're stranded. So there's a lot of risk, inherent risk, going deep into the ocean. It's be much more efficient to have more engineers and scientists and biologists to design drones. Now you can build a whole field of scientists that would design naval drones and aerial drones to fly out into the ocean, study more storms, study animal patterns safely, away from the scent of humans. So we'd have really more powerful drones for science teams and research teams, university teams, set up, advance the career field really. Sending out drones and flying drones. Pilots get training. Biologists, botanists get more data from islands we find and sea creatures and plant life in the ocean. They all work in tandem, like quite literally, to expand our knowledge of what's out there. And we'll definitely find more islands, which will really spur people, probably rich people. I know how rich people are always like, they love having islands or whatever, and so, which is really dangerous too. But that'll also kind of spur that whole kind of movement where they're like, what? There's islands out there that people don't know about? Well, theoretically, yeah, because 75% of the ocean is unmapped. There's a high percentage chance no one sent a satellite to look at like a certain square over 1,000 meter by 1,000 meter area to see if they see anything. 1,000 meter by 1,000 meters is big. And then 10,000 meters by 10,000 meters by 10K meters by 10K meters is also big. But people don't want to waste resources to map and scan and see the data and check, do the work. You probably do it with AI, it'll still take time because the Earth is still massive. But you can start designing AI and with drones to map and scan, understand the habitats and ecosystem in that area, protect those areas, find endangered marine life and protect those species from human destruction, okay, stuff like that. Because humans are destructive. We've killed off a lot of animal species because they like the way it tastes. Like quite literally, the dodo bird went extinct because humans love the way it tastes. So we hunted to extinction. That's why. It was like better than a chicken or whatever. The hype, or maybe that is the hype. It was the whole fact that it was this bird, right, that was like delicate and super rare because it was a smaller species and it tasted amazing, whatever. So they kept hunting it. They hunted into extinction. And this is done. It's humans being destructive. So let's protect the new marine life that we find. You have to create policy for that at the state and federal level. Work with other international marine life organizations to protect new species that they run into and find, so that humans do not put more extinction on other marine life for no reason. And in turn, there's going to be islands, and rich people are going to start pushing and expanding the new kind of career field of looking for more islands. So, yeah, but rich people are going to love the whole idea about, actually, rich people might even exist in the future, because space communism, or democratic socialist U.S. colonies in the future, because I don't need a bank on a space station. I had this conversation in the previous video, I'm just rehashing what I've already said so that people don't get lost. I don't need a bank and a space station getting robbed. I just need people to have a green thumb. It's super easy to grow veggies. Literally, you can have a capsule in your a wall capsule that'll open and close, and you can put seeds in, and it's going to grow your fruit and veggies. You just open a sliding door capsule, and you're going to have your veggies and fruits and spices in the wall. It can all be temperature controlled. Super easy. Like, design-wise, super easy. We already do it. Guess what? We already do it on the space station. They're like little boxes. They're in the wall that grow food. You just extract what you need, peppers, veggies, salads, whatever you're trying to make. It's much easier to grow veggies and fruit, like live off rice and potatoes and starches and good fiber and good antioxidants. And it's going to be nice with, I already said this before in the previous video, the second video, U.S. space colonies will have, like, better air. Just, we can literally start forming air, and we can make a more cleaner air. So the space colonies can have the advantage of like children, growing up in unpolluted air, which will also probably make them like way more intelligent. You know what I mean? Like just straight up, they're gonna be growing up in a much healthier environment, much more conducive environment to their being. And a lot of teachers are gonna lose their jobs too because of AI. Because it goes back to it says in the previous video, the second video, if I speed everybody up, people of color are gonna love the AI teachers because then you don't have to deal with racist teachers anymore. So then your children are gonna grow up with like a proper education, like in space, like U.S. space colonies and all that. So like the advantage is like people are like what? So like you're still gonna need all these other energy sources too. So like I was trying to explain to I think my roommates before. Basically, all of the biologists, geologists, botanists, miners, dudes that mine, men and women, and that mine in coal mines and natural gas mining, we're still gonna need that because we need those skills, and to pay them like $3.5 million to like $8 million to $10 million a year, their pay range is gonna be huge. They're gonna be like because botanists that can control the food supply, nutrition that can control the food supply, understand how to tend to the food supply better with like vertical farms and space colonies are going to be like invaluable personnel. Okay. Miners that used to mine, men and women today, them that used to mine in coal mines or natural gas, we're going to need them in spacesuits in space because the robots are going to fuck up y'all. People are like, what? Like even for me, I'll tell you right now, I'm still going to have a human workforce. Of people, that are going to understand our company and our vision in the future, and hopefully want to work for us or whatever, and just having a proper environment, where they can grow as people and for the better of all humanity as we colonize other asteroids and expand our space colonies. But if income does always stay around, then like capitalism continues to survive, then of course it'd be like some sort of hard encoded digital currency, like a credit. I guess maybe like a token, possibly. But the encryption and protection of it has to be imperfect. So it goes back to like, okay, we can skip the tokens, we can skip the encrypted currency, we can skip currency altogether because I don't need banks. It's basically in the future. I need people that love to talk and make music, become artists, and make music. People that have a green thumb. Well, everyone can grow veggies and whatnot, but people really have a green thumb. They want to like produce lots of food, and bakers are always going to pop up. People love bacon. Bakers are always going to pop up. Artists making music and songs and art and literature is going to pop up. Have their own fandoms in space colonies. Superstar. There's a whole anime series on Macross Frontier. I think Macross in general. They have like fighter pilots fighting in space because they're still flying like enhanced flying, aircraft, attack aircraft, the guard of the colonies, and then you have like a superstar singer, she's traveling to different space colonies, always singing, like Idol. So Idols always be around. What else is there? Yeah, it's gonna be super nice. There's no car accidents, no car crashes anymore. You're gonna be flying in your spacecraft, aircraft. Your AI is gonna control it. You can pick up your kids and drop off your kids at work or school. And work is really like what you love to do. Musicians can just focus on making music. Artists can focus on making art. Farmers have green thumbs. Everyone can freaking grow their own food inside capsules on the walls inside the space colonies. You can also maybe order or trade resources. Oh, my bad. The currency will probably turn into like gold and platinum and diamonds and all that. I take that back. So yeah, the transferring of resources to each other, like Amazon. On Amazon you like order cereal, you order like clothes. Well, like in the space colonies, you'll probably be able to have your own kind of profile, and you'll be able to like send someone, here's platinum, here's gold, a certain weight in grams or whatever, kilograms, to like an artist or person for making something for you. Does it click now? Right? You'd be like, I'm gonna pay this artist in like 1K gram of gold, and then like 500 grams of platinum, 10,000 grams of steel, and so then he gets those resources too, and then a whole bunch of robots behind the scene in the colony move resources, and a whole bunch of robots are like talking to each other as they're moving boxes. Your own AI robots and systems are always talking to other people's AI robot systems, and they're moving your resources around. And like storage. You know what I mean? You might have your own robots doing security storage for your storage. Like Amazon. You're just kind of sending resources to each other. You're trading goods. Like if someone makes a pie, you'd be like, can I give you 1 gram of gold? They're like, can I give you 5 grams of gold? I'll transfer 5 grams of gold. And you just do your little thing on your cell phone. You transfer 5 gold to somebody, 5 grams of gold. You might transfer 10 grams of gold or whatever, you know, the case may be, 100 grams of gold or whatever. Someone baked an incredible pie, you know, I'm gonna give them 500 grams of silver. I'll transfer them from my resource to theirs, and, or my, you know, someone gives you an incredible painting. I'll give them 1 kilogram or 10 kilograms of platinum or something like that. Probably be more so material resource in terms of currency. I think most finance people will find a way to like move their assets to cover like hard material. You know what I mean? The collection of gold, the collection of silver, the collection of platinum, probably the hoarding of rare materials. They're not even really rare anymore because the whole Astro Belt has tons of these resources. You're just kind of trading goods and whatever value they have. You know what I mean? And gold will kind of always be valuable. Like what? How? Because of the filament of gold. Because of the electron signature of gold. Gold can bind with the most electrons. It essentially can Okay, how can I bring this down? It brings down to layman's terms. It brings down to like basic people's terms. Gold is more conducive and conductive than any other metal in the world, in the known universe. Gold allows us to move large amounts of energy through its filament because of its electron gates, its signature. It can hold more electrons, which allows us to do some really cool shit. Excuse my language, sorry. But super basic physics thing. Copper can only do so much and get burned out and frayed and fail and condense upon itself. Copper has limitation. It only has like I think 1 or 2 electrons floating, right, in its outer neutron position, a density of its protons and neutrons. And then gold has the ability to transfer just like more electrical gates across itself. So like I think because copper is like 1 or 2 electrons can like free flow from its position. There's conductivity, and with that, it can go back and forth. That's why we have grounding is like 1, and then an alternating current going back and forth. And so gold allows like I think like way more. I have to double check again. It's anywhere between like 10 to 20. Can like free flow across its body. So because of that, you need gold filament and gold wiring in like more advanced electronics in the future. That's why when people see like, I'll give you an example, you see like NASA, you see any kind of science stuff from JPL, a lot of the parts are made out of gold. Or you see a lot of gold on it. Just much more easier. Gold just has more advantage. It's a cool looking color, right? It's a pretty cool looking color. But just stuff like that. And we need platinum and steel to build a lot of stuff, mainly for spacecraft. You're still going to need steel, platinum, a lot of plastics, that too. Even though plastics are bad, but you can actually create plastics where they never interact with humans. People are like, what? As long as you build a proper kind of shell within a spacecraft, you can always negate any kind of exposure to plastics. And plastics can then be the exterior plating of a lot of aircraft to balance and stop moving objects. So you can create kind of a combination of like a mesh. Instead of a bulletproof vest, imagine a spaceship has a plastic-proof vest. And the different types of people are like, what? We found, okay, should I speed everybody up? Second video, give them up to speed with science because they don't know anything. We created these plastics that can like stop all force. Like people are like going, shit, like what? Okay, so we've created these high density plastic. Think like Star Wars armor, like quite fucking literally. Sorry, excuse my language. Also, I'm just an artist, just a dude, and also people fucking use Google. We created this high density like plastics that can stop like all force, literally all force, negating like bullets and stuff like that. It's quite powerful, and quite expensive. It's like this. They call I think like was it Newton? It doesn't break the laws of Newtonian physics. It expands our understanding of plastics, these gels. It's like this amorphous state of like a plasma plastic jelly, and it essentially, when stuff moves slow through it, it flows like nothing. You move slow, it flows. The moment something punches it or hits it, it just like collapses and condenses. And it's quite awesome. It just expands our understanding of Newtonian physics. Let me show you. It's like plastic liquid that stops force. Let me try and find the video of energy absorbing plastics, y'all. Energy. They call it non-Newtonian plastics, but it actually just they got it wrong. That's incorrect. It's just expanding our understanding of Newtonian plastic, but it goes back to like Newton, and so it's just really just physics. So sorry, I think in time we'll probably stop using Newton's name. So yeah, let me find the. Oh, a magic bullet stopping liquid. It is not a magic bullet stopping liquid from August 16, 2021. Is literally they coined it as non-Newtonian material. No, it's literally just expanding our understanding of Newtonian physics. I don't know why they're rejecting it. It's essentially quite incredible. Quite incredible. Someone's showing a video of the weird physics of levitating liquids upside down. Well, no, you're using sound to trap water molecules in their position. That's what you do. When people talk about there's a video of like water floating, but what you're doing is you're using sound to hold the water in its position. It's a really interesting video. This was on where did this come from? Levitating liquid upside down and gravity-defying physics experiment. You're not. You just someone called it reverse buoyancy. It's not reverse buoyancy.
Get on the ground!
What is this? Hold on, sorry. I don't know if it's the keyboard or if it's something else happening on the website. Why does Facebook like it's hacked or something? The Facebook website's fucking up. Oh, it's a spacebar. It's fucking up. That has to be the problem. No, some of the two commands are going off at the same time. I didn't even click anything. What did I just click? The Alt key? Okay, let's rip out the Alt key. Fuck that key if it's fucking up. Facebook is trying to have me like leave their page, but I'm trying to see what's triggering it. So it's happening with the spacebar. Doesn't make any sense. If I hit the spacebar once, instead of continuing to type, it's like the spacebar is trying to trigger me to leave the Facebook website page. Watch, I click the spacebar once, and then it triggers and says, do you want to leave the page? That doesn't make any sense. Because I'm just typing every time you hit the spacebar. So what would trigger... The Alt key is doing it. The Alt key shouldn't do that. If I click the D key, no. Spacebar. Something's happening. Every time I press the spacebar, the right click function is popping up. It's really fucking weird. When I click the spacebar, the function of the right click on the mouse is popping up. And it's trying to have me leave the site. Changes you made and not saved. Leave page. You haven't finished your comment yet. Do you want to leave without finishing? Then I have to click saying save on page. But all I'm doing is typing. Backspace works. That's weird. This officer in this video had no right to shoot this weapon. This officer, Illinois cop. There's a black woman, and you tell she's a mother, and her car has like kids, like 6 children. And there's nothing that should make an officer draw his gun and fire at a vehicle that has children in it. None whatsoever. Because guess what? The officer, if they're alone and they're stupid and scared, you maintain distance and you pursue chase. I mean, save humanity one bit at a time. You have a racist white cop shooting at a black woman and her 6 kids in her car. These officers should know what they're supposed to do. Let me clap before the officer's supposed to do. I'm a former law enforcement officer of the Air Force. Maintain your distance. Call for backup. Get the license plate. You know what my officers would have said when they drilled this officer? They would have said, why didn't you follow proper protocol? They would have stripped him of his rank. Would have been investigated. Would have did extra duty. You would have already been immediately within a few days. Our judiciary system in the Air Force would have already slammed him. You'd be like, your badge and weapon. You lose all of your rank. You're now down to Airman Basic. Or just, it's the part of the rank, Airman Basic. Or it could be Airwoman Basic, I guess, technically, yeah. But Airman Basic is the technical title. If you lose all your pay, you're in investigation. You're just doing extra duty. I've seen that before. I'll tell you a little truth. I've seen shitty Air Force cops lose all their rank, lose all their chevrons, and all of a sudden they're around the base just like doing extra duty work. They're like cleaning stuff and walking around. And we know. Out of our 400 plus cops, I think like less than a handful, like 3 or 4, were ever in that predicament that I saw, where they did something so heinous, they lost all their rank, extra duty. Check this out: they lose all their pay, lose all their benefits. They get discharged in time, but at first they're going to work. So, in order their carceral punishment is basically, I think they work like a year and a half, and usually like in a jail cell. And we have our wardens watch them. It has happened. I've seen 2 of our cops, all of a sudden they're in our jail cell, did some heinous and dumb and evil act, or just something that broke federal law, or they lost all their rank. As someone used to know, there's 400 other cops are doing our job diligently, protecting the base and the people and civilians around us. Out of the 400 plus cops, about 4 or 5 that were actually in jail, and they lose all their rank, and they're working extra duty, and they're cleaning up other squadrons. They basically act as like a janitorial role, which is really fucked up that the janitorial role then becomes like extra duty, but it's essentially something that they can do where they can't do anything too crazy. Basically, it's like, hey, go clean the ashtrays of everybody. And when an officer says that, they have to abide by it, because you're basically like, you're a federal military prisoner. Now the officers are like, hey, go shove some snow. And they'll just have them shoveling snow for no reason. But it's part of their punishment. In terms of like, well, we can't just have you sit in the jail cell for like 15 months. It's like, or have you do cleanup duty around the base. And there's always someone monitoring and watching. The wardens are always there. There's always like 2 wardens, 3 wardens. There'll be 3 could be 3 female officers or 3 men. There's always 3 wardens. They're watching like one, um, uh, you know, dishonorably discharged airwoman or airman, and they're confined. Actually, they walk everywhere. Not allowed to drive. Not allowed to be in anyone's vehicle. Always in a watch. They go back in the jail cell to get out of jail cell. They're cleaning snow, or they're shoveling leaves, or they're moving dirt, or they're taking care of the grass. Something menial manual labor, where they're helping the base, but they have reduction in the pay, basically no pay, lose other benefits, and then when they're done, they either get discharged or they get sent to Leavenworth, depending on what the person was doing. So I'll explain it this: if their crime is so severe that they're going to Leavenworth, they're just in the jail cell on base. As a former law enforcement officer, I can explain all that too. Airmen that of other squadrons that mess up, their act is so heinous that they're just confined to confinement because you cannot let them out. And then they're just sitting kind of in a holding pattern until they get off to Leavenworth, which is where military prisoners that do really bad stuff go. And most people don't hear anybody from Leavenworth because to end up there, you have already done something egregious. And you understand, well, talking to posterity, to the 7 to 10 people that watch you on average, and for the future people to understand. And then sometimes it's just someone does a crime, right? And it's like, it's a crime, right? But then it's they'll work by like cleaning ashtrays, like literally, or moving snow, or like cutting the grass, and you'll always have wardens watching them, and sometimes even other volunteer kind of military members, which kind of makes more sense because it comes to manpower and person power. So like, if a comms person committed a crime, we will also have one comms person as a volunteer and a cop kind of watch them, because then sometimes we're like short staffed, where it's these are due to deployments. Just makes sense. When you deploy people from an Air Force base, you're committing so much resources to them to go overseas, and you lose that person power, people power. So then we like, in terms of security apparatus, in order to watch, next to the wardens or whatever, you know what I mean? Like if we only have 3 wardens ever working, and 2 of them get deployed when they have 1, we need another person somewhere else, and we can't do that with our military force because everything's in line. You know what I mean? You work 3 days, you get 3 days off. You work 4 days, you get 2 days off. You work 6 days, you get 3 days off. Whatever your shift is. Sometimes they're 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts. So we're already committing all of our people to fill so many roles. So when it came to, person power, people power, sometimes we had volunteer, kind of like, how can I describe it? Like deputized. We're taking other military career fields, and they kind of get a crash course on how to do security, and then we just need to like stand here and watch this person. And you'll be with the warden, but just be like 2-on-1 for safety, right? You see what I'm saying? Versus, because if it's a criminal and it's 1-on-1 with the warden, it's just not enough people or persons. What I mean by that is it's always 2 or 3. So that 2 people can subdue and 1 person can call backup, or 1 person can fight and a second person calls backup. Or they both have tasers, so like they both fire their taser at the prisoner. The prisoner can only attack 1, right? And then the second military member should be able to like tase the other person. See what I'm saying? So that's why there's a person power kind of thing. You can never have a warden with 1 prisoner. Never. Not in policy. At first it was 2, and then even then, and it went to 3. 2 people will have them by the arms, and then 1 person standing back kind of watching everything for like, to radio it in or be the immediate, siren or beacon. You see what I'm saying? So you always have 2 people kind of holding a prisoner with left arm and right arm, and there's always a 3rd officer or 3rd military cop standing back, plenty of feet, like 10, 15 feet back, watching it all, you know what I mean, as the 3rd line of defense. Kind of give everybody perspective on security when you're moving prisoners. That's nothing fancy. It's nothing secret. It's just kind of welcome to when you're moving bad humans around. We've had this too where military planes are flying in and they have to fuel at our base. And so when they stop, they will feed the prisoner and everyone will eat. So then there's like military cops get off the aircraft and they're moving like a few prisoners. And they're all former military because they're wearing military fatigues. They're wearing Air Force fatigues. And or in some sort of Air Force insignia that shows that they're former military and whatnot. And most of them kind of, they tell it and they know. You know what I mean? Like they'll be moving, it could be 7 Air Force prisoners, and there's 7 former Air Force personnel that committed crimes. And they'll have their jumpsuit, and they'll be in the dining hall, and they'll have our cops will work with other cops that are flying in with their military aircraft, or military cops, and then we'll sit at the dining tables too as extra security, because you're feeding like a lot of prisoners. So you have like 7 prisoners. Each prisoner is assigned like 2 cops, and then everyone kind of sits apart. So some of the prisoners conglomerate, they get together on a table, and then other cops and other wardens kind of sit, we watch, and we maintain eyes on target, and then we observe. And then when they're done eating, you put them back in handcuffs. And I guess it's kind of sad, but you have to. So after when they're done eating, you just hands behind their back, they're on their knees, and you put them in handcuffs. You stand them back up, and it's always two people. That's why it's always two people. So left arm, right arm, and then we lift them up, and then we guide them back to the armored bus, and they go back onto aircraft. Aircraft's done fueling. We shake hands. We say some pleasantries with the other cops that we met that were escorting prisoners through our base, and then and they're off to where they're going. So I know we're 1 hour into the second stream, and I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about time in the Air Force, time as an Air Force cop, some of the experience I had, universal truths that I said in the first stream and now the second stream. Make decisions now so that your grandchildren 40 years from now love you. Okay, that's the universal truth. You rock the snaz, you rock the snaz. And you got a big nose, rock the big nose. You know what I mean? Be you, as long as you're not. I'll quote my sergeants above me. Brilliant wisdom, growing up and seeing the lives they've led. They talked about what's it called? Oh, have fun, be merry, be safe, as long as you're not hurting anybody. And I love this sergeant because he basically said, like, go off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't want to hear a text from you. Like, our sergeants were like, let me enjoy my time with my family. But they're like, if something is wrong, they're like, if you're lost, they're like, if you're stuck in a casino, if you're stuck over state lines and you lost gas, they're like, call your first sergeant, call your supervisor, call me. A lot of sergeants are like, because they're older and they have kids and family, they see everyone below them has kids and family. Anyone that's older in the Air Force they see like the ageism, but it becomes like you gain extra brothers and sisters, you gain extra mother figures and father figures. So all the natural fathers then become like father-like figures to everyone that's younger. All the natural kind of mother cops naturally become like extra mothers to all the women that are younger, that don't have kids. And then you gain like almost like extra grandparents and grandmothers and grandparents too. And so, but it's these funny moments of like it's Friday night, or it could be Thursday too. You could have worked 6 days and have 3 days off, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the sergeants would kind of look around in the room, all the airmen and airwomen, and all the younger folks facing just like, hey, if you have the next 3 days off, be safe, call us, text us, anything's wrong, we'll come get you. And then they were like, then we're going to hound you the rest of the way here. We're going to ask you a ton of questions. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, understand that something goes wrong, you're in not a safe place, you're in the wrong party. Your advice that was given to me as we were growing up, because basically it's like, it's different when you're young and you're growing up in the military. You're in your early 20s. It's the spiel that my sergeant said is just like, yeah, if you're in the wrong place, if you're out of touch, if you're in a party you want to be in, like, call us in Texas. And we'll stop what we're doing. Like, we're human. We're all here as a team and a family. Like, we got each other's backs. And we'll go out of our way and drive across state lines, come pick you up. But damn be for sure, you're going to help pay for gas, and I'm going to talk the ear off. We're going to yap. We're going to, we're going to hound you. We're going to, like, hey, like, what happened? Why is this occurring? And it's all out of love and respect. So make sure you're doing okay. Okay? And then my other sergeants would say something like, be happy, be merry, do you pleasantries. But he said, as long as you're not hurting anybody. It was like, he's like, you do your thing, as long as you're not hurting anybody. It was like y'all best not be doing something illegal, and y'all best not be harming people. Because then my other sergeants that were like, they're all like dad figures too. And same with the mother figures too. The other sergeants are like mother figures that have kids. They all were like, they see everyone that's younger as children, like their own kind of kids, because we're constantly in each other's lives, protecting our base, protecting our people, protecting veterans, protecting civilians, protecting our nation. That bond, that camaraderie is immense. You can't replace that. And then what else is there? Yeah, so same thing as I'm walking out from the second stream, because it's 6:26 in the morning. I should get some sleep. Is be happy, be merry. Don't do any harm. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anyone else. As long as you're having fun, make sure it's safe. And that's it. Oh, Thursday, 6:26 in the morning. Second stream. Logging out. Peace.